everyone, it's Naomi, and I'm going to talk about crystal balls tonight and scrying and what you can do to learn how to scry and get your crystal balls to start communicating with you. And I have 4 crystal balls. I have this tiny mini one here. I'll show you in the light. It's a citrine crystal ball, but even though it's tiny, it's still very powerful. There's a lot of energy, and citrine is really good energy for crystal balls. I have a calcite crystal ball, which is a lighter white color, and this one is very communicative. Actually, it really will tell me stories through pictures. So that one's really very interesting crystal ball. I also have another citrine crystal ball. This one's a little more temperamental, a little more difficult because it's also darker color, so it's a little harder to read sometimes, but it's still very good crystal ball to read. They're getting powered up, and I say they're getting powered up because I have my big red crystal ball, which is really a very powerful ball, as you've seen in the videos. Now, I have to talk about personalities of the crystal balls because they all have unique personalities, and you might have difficulty. You might have bought one and finding it difficult to use. Not that you can't ever use it, but it might not be the right crystal ball for you. And what I do when I bought these crystal balls, I took a pendulum with me, and I would swing the pendulum over the crystal ball and ask it questions and ask it to answer through the pendulum, to swing right for yes answers and left for no. And I actually ask the crystal ball, if I tell them what I'm going to use it for, what's the purpose, and if they can help me with that purpose, and if they would like to go home with me. It sounds crazy, but it works for me because I find that each one really connects with me. The only one that I didn't do that for was the mini one, which I just ordered online, but it's really a great little crystal ball. So, personalities. Number 1, this big crystal ball here has a very definite personality. He's more than a little, he's a very dark crystal ball. The energy is very powerful, very masculine. I feel Mars energy coming from the crystal ball. Not only that, because he's red, but he just has a very masculine energy. And I see, when I look into it, I actually see a face lots of times that will not come out in the video often, is the face of the spirit in this ball. And it's, it's kind of a devilish looking face. It's a young man with a mustache, and he comes in different, he will show me different sides of himself. But lots of times, you can see in the videos or in the pictures, the eyes staring at me. And this ball takes a lot of time to warm up. It's kind of like when he decides he's ready, then he'll decide to talk. And what he'll do is, when I'm outside, everything will get quiet all of a sudden. The neighbors seem to go to bed, the lights go out, and I always feel like that's him. He's making this happen. He's creating, you know, the atmosphere where, you know, he can give me energy and actually communicate with me. And you see now he's not very active because he's charging up. He also actually likes to be the center of attention. He doesn't like when I have other crystal balls out on the table. Absolutely doesn't like it. But the little crystal balls, I find, get very charged when they're on the table with him. So I like to put them on the table for a little bit to receive energy and to charge them up with his energy. Like I said, also this citrine ball can be very temperamental as well. But this crystal ball, I find, it's mostly animal spirits, really very natural spirits within this crystal ball, and also a lot of spiritual, higher spiritual messages. I get a lot of, I feel like religious spirits in here, like specifically to Catholicism. I've even seen, you know, the Vatican in here, and you know, it gives a lot of spiritual advice. It's not negative at all. Very good energy and great messages, but like I say, they're more not so personal for me, but more for, you know, a higher meaning for, you know, people in general. Now the little calcite one, like I said, will show me actual. Feels like a movie sometimes watching this one. When it gets really active and going, it will really start speaking. This actually has lots of dragons in it and wizards and, you know, that sort of magical energy in here. Very fiery, also a very masculine ball, but really good messages for ancestors. Talks about ancestors to me a lot. So, and in a lot of stories by, you know, showing me little movie pictures almost. But I like this ball very much. Really get a lot of messages from it. It's getting dark here. Okay. And the little one actually can channel spirit messages to help me with spells and to help me with creative projects. So that one's very useful for me personally. Now the big crystal ball, like I said, he's very moody, doesn't like that these other ones are on the table, wants all the attention for himself. And I feel like the reason for that also is he actually empowers me. He gives me powerful magic energies and spells, so I'd like to have him out here when I'm creating a spell to empower me. And lots of times he'll start flashing like flames coming out, and I feel like that's his power energy being transferred to me. Now when I do ask for guidance, I usually ask for a specific spirit to come through in this ball. You know, I've had Marie Laveau give me spells, personal messages from her. It's really, really powerful to get a spirit message, and especially from this ball. Now, ways to get them to start to speak. You really have to practice focusing on psychic ability. You can even do a spell to increase your psychic ability. But I practice almost every day. Psychic work, reading tarot cards, scrying crystal balls. So, and I've developed it over years, so it's not something that comes, you know, 1, 2, 3, especially scrying and crystal balls or in anything. Scrying, I think, is one of the hardest methods to learn. But once you got it, and it's really one of the most powerful ways to, you know, do divination. What else about this? Okay, now what you need to do, of course, is practice psychic focusing and directing your energy. And you have to ground and center before you do that. Ground your body in the earth and open up your third eye. And I'll have to put a post on that, how to do that. I don't want to talk too long here. These videos are really only easy to upload if they're only 20 minutes, but I will put out a post about that. But working with them every day, if you're, you know, getting close with the ball by speaking to it and using a pendulum will really help you. And just ask that the crystal ball start moving the pendulum right or left for yes or no answers for you. And I think that's the best method to really start to activate them. And like I said, you really need to find a ball that really feels right for you, that speaks to you, that you feel good energy from it. And don't be afraid. Like this ball, he's, you know, shows me scary things sometimes, but I'm not afraid of it. And you can't be afraid when you're, you know, talking to spirits or even talking to a spirit in a, you know, a stone. You have to be in command. You have to be in charge and not let them control you. And like this one loves to try to control the situation. Now, one thing you can try is this ball has told me that he wants to use blood magic, and so what I do to charge him up, and he actually won't talk to me until I do this, is to prick my finger, and I have to, you know, put my fingerprint on the ball and, you know, rub my DNA on the ball, and that activates him, and then he goes wild. And the way you prick your finger, you have to be careful with anything like that. You have to wash your hands and put alcohol on your finger, and then I use these little, it's for diabetes, people with diabetes, so it's a little needle on here, and they're disposable. Let me take this off and I'll show you. There's a little needle, tiny needle on here. I don't know if you can see that little needle. And you just, you know, wash your finger off and put the alcohol on it, and you just quickly stick it. And it does, you know, it doesn't hurt. It's really nothing. And then you just dispose of this. You put the cap back on and, you know, dispose of it. I usually wrap it in something else so that in case that needle ever comes through. But these diabetes needles work very well. And you might not want to do that with your crystal ball at first. I would say start with the pendulum. Do it daily. Try to do it when you're all alone. Try to do it outside if you can, if you have a place outside that you can do this. I also wanted to tell you about the wine bottles. You can scry even in a wine bottle. Any reflective surface, putting a candle on it, and it will reflect and can reflect images to you. You can also scry in just candlelight, and you gaze into the candle. This one's very active. You can gaze into the candle, and you just sort of focus and then let your eyes go out of focus, and you do this back and forth, focusing in and then going out of focus, and eventually you'll see images, you'll hear messages. And what I mean by hearing messages, it's intuitively, it's in your mind, and you're like, almost like you're talking to yourself, but the way you can usually discern if it's your voice or a spirit's voice, I hear an echo. If I say something in my mind, you know, I say, this is what you want to tell me. If I sort of hear it repeated, this is what you want to tell me, I know that spirit is saying it. It's not me. When I start to hear that echo of my words, I feel that's when I know that's when the spirits start speaking to me, when I sort of hear that echo of the things I'm saying. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to prick my finger and I'm going to put the blood on this ball, and you see he's really not that active right now, and he's dark. Yeah, he's making it darker even still. It's dark, he's not reacting. But I'm going to put the blood on him, and I'm going to take these other crystal balls off the table, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how he starts to react. And oh, I also wanted to show you, actually you can't see it so good here, is the genie lantern I have. And oops, I posted the genie, you can't see it, I posted the genie genie lantern, how to get a genie in the bottle, in the lantern, and you should have that, and that's really fun to try. And that's also a way to get messages. You know, the genie can help you do things, but I use the genie as a way for divination also. When I need answers, when I need messages, you can use the genie in the lamp or lantern. So I hope this helped you a little bit, and I'll be making more videos, and I will be back, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.